I think I've like tried the purple pill. I haven't slept a full night on one though. I've just like tried it out. So it's hard to
You should
say.
just go to every friend's house and sleep on their pillows and then figure out from there.
Like, am I Goldilocks? Like, this pillow is too
Well, it does
firm.
sound like it, okay?
The random people's houses. This pillow is too soft. This pillow is just right. And the friend be like, why the fuck are you in my bed? Hi everyone and welcome back to Josei Junkies, an anime podcast where we talk about anything and everything. I'm Iso.
And I'm Kane.
So today I was actually like reading on some manga sites and I thought it was really interesting. I was looking and wondering, all these genres, how do they like select the genres that they're listed as? Because I guess a lot of the sites aren't official sites either. But I don't know. So like the biggest one I was always wondering is like, there's this genre called like teen love, or like TL for short. And I feel like it's really recent because like, you know, we've both been in this community, this what area of not expertise, but like this, what do you call it? I don't know the word.
In this fandom,
Yeah.
in this like, I guess community is right.
Yeah, like in this community. I mean, I'd be a lurker if anything. I'm not really a participant until
You're
now.
talking about like TL, right? Like teen love?
Yeah.
Like,
teen love.
kind of like smut for girls?
Yeah, and I wasn't sure what it was, so I like looked it up because I was like, well, why is it called teen love? Because this is very obviously a smut series. Because that's what I was used to seeing, like, especially growing up. It was always labeled smut. It was like, TL was never a thing. And I was like, why is it called teen love? This is not for teens. This is like for not teens, like literally the opposite.
I think the first time I heard about it, when it was like randomly showed up, it's like a new thing within the last like less than 10 years,
Definitely.
I think, in Japan. And it's like it became like there's actual websites in Japanese that full on just like teens love, like smutty for women's manga. And I was like, that's crazy. Like that was the first time seeing something like that. And I was like, I can't believe they even market towards women way back then. So that was the first time I saw it. And yeah, it's definitely for teen. I was like, TL, what is TL? Because they had BL, you know?
Yeah.
And then now they had TL and they have like, what is it? Is it GL
I think
for
it's
girls
GL.
love?
I'm pretty sure GL.
Yeah. And I was like, what the heck is TL? I was like, teens love. And I'm like, not for teens, but I'm telling you, I think it's an in between like shoujo and josei. But like josei is like really broad. I think it's like very, I don't know, how would you describe
I feel like Josei is just like it's targeted towards older women. Like I'd say like maybe older teens to like 30s ish, maybe a little older. Like just in general, it's like targeted towards them and tends to just be like the themes and like what they talk about, which
mature themes.
Yeah, like more mature themes and things that are just more relatable to that like demographic. Whereas I guess like smut is just straight up like, you know, they do the do. And then TL is like, I don't know. I feel like I didn't start noticing TL until they started coming out with these like few minute long series that are like very more for the female kind of do the do things.
Yeah.
So that's what I consider TL. But like when I looked it up, I feel like no one really knows what it is. Like I get conflicting like definitions on every site I've gone to.
I feel like TL is just like shoujo smut, but not with like super dark themes, like some of the themes that we've talked about. You know, like grapes and like, you know, psychological, like thriller type of theme. So it's just like straight fluff and dating and like love and romance and, you know,
But
smut.
wouldn't that just be smut? Or is it like a more specific smut?
But maybe it's like kind of like, yeah, specific smut for just people who are looking for the romance and the fluff rather than like wanting to dive into like deeper topics or like more mature topics, you know?
I mean,
they just like don't want to deal with it.
I guess that makes sense. But then there's that one series, the one that's with the prison.
Is that a TL?
I'm pretty sure that's a TL. I think that's like the first one I looked up because that was like one of the first series that did that. And I was like, I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, I thought that was just Josei smut.
Well, I mean, that's what I thought all of those were at first. But then I was like...
No, but I know TL, like you can just tell. Usually the smut comes within the first chapter. And that's when I know it's TL versus
But there
just
is smut in the
regular.
first chapter of that. Like,
Now,
definitely.
I don't know then.
Literally, like every chapter of that
No,
has
but the
it.
theme I think would be too dark to be labeled TL.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
No?
based off your
That's
definition,
dark.
it wouldn't be TL, but I'm pretty sure it is labeled as TL. That's why I'm like, it's so vague and confusing, and no one knows what TL is. And why did
I
they
think
call
it
it
just
teen?
literally came out. It's so new.
I think, but then like I think I read the article and it said it's been around since like the 90s, and I'm like, what? I haven't heard this
What?
until like the past, like, you say like decade, but I feel like even less than that, like maybe five,
Bro, you know what I've
7 years to be
noticed
safe.
too? On Pixiv, if you're on Pixiv, a lot of the yaoi artists who does like a lot of doujinshi and like, original manga are
Mm.
now just doing like quick TL because I think they're getting paid more for doing that than they are for doing just yaoi doujinshi. Does that make sense?
Like the full-on series dojinshi.
Not like a full on series, like maybe they only do like one or two volume
Mm.
or like a few chapters even, but I
Mm.
think they're getting paid more to do like heterosexual like smut. And so I see a lot of
Oh.
them, like the one that have really beautiful art, I've noticed is always like from yaoi artists
Yeah,
who
yeah,
like
yeah.
I think they're making more money because now like these companies are hiring these artists to create, manga
Mm. But for
because
like,
there's money in it now. I'm
yeah.
like shocked. Isn't that crazy? Who would have known?
Who would have known? Artists are no longer
Who would have known?
starving. I'm not saying all artists, but like there's so much more opportunity for artists now. It's great. Like, I'm glad they're getting paid what they should, and they're not like literally the quote unquote starving artist.
Right. And then where does yaoi fall in this? Does yaoi have its own section and it's like not related to like TL or Josei at all?
I mean, what I always knew was like BL is like the overall arching name for like yaoi and shonen ai, and then shonen ai was like the innocent boys love, like no sex, and then yaoi was like the sex. But then I've noticed when you like look at the way they label series, sometimes they mix both together, which doesn't. I mean, I guess you can have shonen ai in yaoi, but you can't have. Wait, you can have shonen ai in yaoi, but you can't have yaoi in shonen
Yeah,
ai.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You can't have yaoi in shonen ai because that would make it no longer shonen ai. But then
Mhm.
they'll put. I mean, I guess I don't know. It's confusing when they put both genres in the labels because then it's like, well, then they should just put yaoi, right? Or
Yeah, because everything is BL or Shonen-ai, you know?
yeah, because well, I
Within that
guess like if
section.
there's no love at all, then it's just like
No love, just all psychological.
yeah, just messed up. I mean, those exist.
I guess you're right. I
Like,
wonder how they label that because I think like yaoi could be josei, but josei doesn't have to be yaoi,
dude,
right?
can Josei be
Josei doesn't have to be, but can be yaoi.
yaoi? I guess because it's like marketed. Yaoi is like marketed towards women, but I
Right?
never really
Older
thought of
women,
it that way because it's like I don't know.
their own
That's
section, right?
yeah. I always kind of felt like they were mutually exclusive. Is that the word? Mutually exclusive? Like
I
they
mean,
could.
it's weird. Like the josei genre in general is like really broad, and it could be anything from like office lady smut to like yaoi to like, just slice of
Dude,
life.
older women are just into everything, man. We have no bars. Just read everything.
My real question is, like, in those hentai sites, like, what section are we? Because I'm pretty sure there's no section for just pure josei smut or like, I think there's yaoi and yuri, but like, I don't think there is like a TL. You know what I mean?
I don't think like hentai sites even have a section because it's just not anything
Is
for
it just considered
women.
vanilla?
Yeah, I think it's just vanilla. I feel like
But like,
that's what it
vanilla can
is.
be so broad too. You know what I mean? Like, just love and
Yeah,
like love.
but I think that's what they label it as because like
But
okay,
what if there isn't love, like we talked about?
I think they
What
would
if
still
there's
label it
no
vanilla
love?
because vanilla doesn't need love. Vanilla is just like normal sex, right?
Really?
Yeah, that's what it
I
means.
thought vanilla is usually love
No, it can have
and
love,
smut.
but it just means it's like normal doing the do. Like there's no kinky stuff going on because that's what like anti sites have. It's just like a ton of different genres of like what you're into, and I would assume like porn sites too. I've actually never looked, so I don't know for that. But for anti
It's
sites, it's
confusing.
like definitely by like genres of like different kinks.
I'm just mad, okay? If they can have like weird ass genre and like why can't they just have a genre? or female smut or just
because
smut.
because there's no representation for the woman.
But
It's
now
just
there
hentai.
is. I feel like there's so much out there. Like every other time I'm scrolling on my TikTok, I'm like, another one? Oh my gosh.
I mean, I think it's building, but it's still not there. And then in the general hentai industry, it's like dominated by men. I mean, even like when I hear hentai, I just think of like the big, so much big titty. Like your titties are too big. Like all I see when I
The
see big
whole
titty.
page.
Okay, honestly, all I see when I see big titty like anime characters is what is their back like? Do they need the doctor? Like
Do have a back.
they're literally must be in so much
Back of
back pain.
steel.
Like I mean, seriously, as people with boobs, like does it not like
It's
I
written by people without boobs, so of
yeah.
course they would understand.
Like have they never heard a woman with boobs like just like run up the stairs? Like it's painful. Like they move. It hurts.
There's no such thing as pain. It's only beauty and sex.
It's just big boob. I'm like, are boobs that big even attractive at that point? Like honestly, are they?
I mean, I feel like there's like that chart, right? Where it goes from A to like whatever, and there's everyone has a preference.
Dude, once it hits like D, I don't even know how big they are anymore. I'm just like, that's very big.
Yeah. And I think it's also proportionate to like the size of your ribs too. It's gonna be
Oh,
how
that's true. Cause
big
like
they
you
are, you know?
subtract from the very top to like your rib cage, right?
But that's even worse. Like the smaller your rib, the less support you have to
Yeah.
carry,
That's why I'm like,
you
their
know?
backs are in so much pain. Dude, that's like One Piece characters are like, yeah.
One Piece
Dude,
character.
they're
That's ridiculous. It gets worse over the years. At
yeah.
some point, the waist is gonna disappear altogether.
I'm just like, I could snap your waist. How are your boobs getting bigger and your waist getting smaller? And I can't, man.
It's not realistic because I don't even see enough space for the spine. The
Dude,
spine
there
is
is no
literally one
spine.
line.
Dude, it's like it reminds me of those girls who got like surgery to get ribs removed so they could have a smaller waist in real life. And I'm like, my God, that sounds so like so much risk with that, especially down the line as you get older and you get like what's it, osteoporosis where you like lose bone or your bones like get weaker and just
Yeah.
like crumble. I'm like, just like not gonna be able to like do anything.
Oh my god, like all of those Chinese actresses who are like their face are falling because they don't have enough. They shave their jaw, so now they don't have the support to keep their face up.
Wait, is that
And so
actually
now their
happening?
face. Yeah, it's like the really pretty one. What is her name? She played in Eternal Love.
I
I
remember
don't
that
know if you've
drama. I
seen
didn't
that
watch it.
one.
It was like on my to watch list.
It's so good, dude. It's like honestly one of my favorite
I think
Chinese
that's the one like
dramas.
everyone says to watch it. Like it has really high reviews. So I was playing too. But
Yeah. When people tell me they have high reviews, I'm like, no, this one. This is the one,
I remember
please.
like
But yeah, I'll send it to you. It's like crazy. It's like she's literally her face turns into a square.
oh my gosh,
Cause
because
like there's
sorry,
uh-huh.
go on, go on.
No, because of the surgery. It's just like now that she's aging, there's nothing to support it.
No,
And she doesn't have the jaw.
I remember reading about because like I've looked into that surgery where I was like,
Uh-huh.
and then it's such a new surgery, I guess you could say that a lot of people don't know like the long term effects of it, and I think that was like a big one where they were like,
Oh.
oh, you don't realize like because like as you get older, right, your skin sags and you lose
Yeah.
fat. And that's why
Yeah.
like people who look younger when they're older, it's like they had a lot of fat or they retained a lot of it or like they don't have any wrinkles, like they keep everything kind of tight. And that's why people do Botox, right? But it looks really unnatural because
Yeah.
all Botox does is freeze it. It doesn't like make it younger. It just kind of stops it in place and that doesn't look right. Just imagine like sticking your skin to like a piece of gum. Like it's still
Mhm.
parts will not look right. But anyways, so like if you like cut your jaw, like you're literally cutting the bone, you still have all that skin. It's not like you lose the skin or you lose like all the stuff behind it. So it just kind of sags as you get older and it looks worse the older you get because there's nothing holding it up. So it's more apparent.
Yeah. Yeah, and then at this point, all they can do, I think, is just keep getting their skin removed and cut
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's
sewn up. That's so
terrible.
freaking scary, though. I can't believe it.
That's so terrible. I mean, I didn't know that was actually happening already. I mean, that's good to know so people are more wary. I don't know, some people get that surgery. I mean, even I look at it a lot and I'm like, oh, it looks
It's
good
so
though.
pretty, though, honestly, but it's like one of those things where it's like because it's so pretty, we want it, but we don't understand the effects of it, and it's just like society telling us like, "Oh, this is the ideal. This is what's pretty," you know? And that is being advertised all the time, so we're like, "Oh, we want that too." So it's like that. If we see more normal looking faces, maybe we wouldn't want that as often.
I think about that a lot because I'm like, is it me or is it society? Because I feel like a lot of it is me wanting it, but then I don't know. Maybe it's so ingrained into me that I don't even know. Like, is it?
Right?
It's so like
Is it? You
my
have to really
head.
sit down with yourself and really like think it through, you know?
You know they say that thing where they're like, okay, if there's a surgery you want, like wait, was it 5 or 10 years, and if you still want it, then you should get it. Because like for me, it's like I have waited that long, and I'm like, yeah, I still kind of want it. I mean, I don't have the money
Isn't
for it,
that
but
what
like I
they
still
say
kind of
about
want it,
tattoos?
huh?
Isn't that what they say about tattoos?
No,
Too?
I think tattoos you just need to be like older, but you don't need to wait that long. Because like there's tattoo removal too. Maybe if you get like a really big tattoo, but there's some
I heard it was hella painful though. It's like
it
worse than tattoo.
it probably is, but I mean, there's still options, right? And that's why it's like, don't get a huge ass tattoo at a very young age that you aren't that sure about. I think it's like to prevent like, you know, kids from getting really stupid tattoos. Because there are some stupid tattoos you would get as a kid. Because that reminds me of fucking did
Like
you watch?
momentarily?
Yeah. Do you remember Tokyo Revengers?
Yeah.
The dude, they have him Draken, and he gets a fucking tattoo on his head, and he's like 10?
Like, yeah, like middle school,
It was,
right?
I think it was elementary school, not even middle school. Because they're like in middle
Are you
school
serious?
in current day. Yeah, isn't that fucking wild? They're not even in high school. They're in middle school, like in current day. I'm pretty sure you got that when he was like in elementary school. I'm like, without your parental consent in Japan? And this tattoo artist was okay with it on your fucking head? Like, even if you're like a gangster, I don't know about that, man.
That's pretty intense. That's like a little bit too much.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's wild. But you would get pretty stupid tattoos as a kid. I think also because there's like studies that have proven too that when you're younger, you're less risk averse, and then as you get older, you
Uh-huh.
are more. So that's why like you're more likely to do risky things when you're younger because your brain is not fully developed and it's like okay with just kind of doing things on the fly and like not thinking about the consequences. But when you get older, your brain starts kicking in more and being like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. That you might hurt yourself. You might be broke. That's kind of dangerous.
So you're saying kids are not responsible
No, they're
for their
not.
future.
No. And scientifically, like
I
your
get it
brain is
now.
like
I mean,
contributes.
I get it because now I understand why there's certain things that they're like, don't do this, don't do that. Before I was like, don't tell me what to do. But now I'm like, seeing
Fuck the
teenagers, I'm like,
police.
teenagers. They're like a little, I can see why because I feel like, again, I don't feel like that really kicked in until like maybe mid-20s or something like
Yeah.
that.
And then
Right?
when you're like younger too, like I wish I did so many more things when I was younger because it's the thing of like you not really understanding what's going on or like how it's impacting you allows you to do more things. Like was it like ice skating for instance or like skateboarding or any kind of like sport, right? Where you could get hurt. Like you have to fall down a lot, right? Especially like balance or
Mhm.
gymnastics. Or when you're a kid, like you fall down and you just get back up. Like you see like little like 5-year-olds, they just like fall and get back up. Like I've seen them at like the ice rink. They just like fall and they get back up and just start skating again. And meanwhile, I fall and I'm just like everything aches. Oh my god, I'm not doing that again. But like kids, what is risk? They're just like, oh no, I just fell. Whatever, I'm gonna try again, and they keep doing it until they can get better. And then when you're older, you're just so scared of everything. You're just like, no, I'm not gonna try that, and it's harder to learn things and pick up things because you
It's
are that
so
much more
true.
scared of the repercussions.
It's so true. But what are we to do?
Yo, man, how do I just like not ache everywhere? Wake up, crack.
And every day I'm waking up and I'm like, I wish I was younger. I wish I exercised when I was younger.
Dude, I honestly say that, but I'm also like, okay, it's never too late to exercise. I want to say that I don't exercise, but I'm also like, would it really help? Would it really? Like, there's some things where I'm like,
It would.
like,
Risk prevention, and if you stretch your like muscles and your like, tendons, it would be more flexible for the future instead of just getting smaller and smaller and tighter and tighter. And then you'll break something one of these days. That's why.
why you gotta put it like that? I don't know. For me, like,
Okay, but
mhm.
it's only a little bit. Just do a little bit. They just say, don't aim for
we're trying to hype,
100%.
we're trying to hype both
Just do
ourselves
like
up.
1%, okay? Yo, I've been trying every single day because my back literally hurts now. Ever since I turned, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna give away my age,
No,
but ever
no,
since I turned, every day I wake up with back pain. When it gets cold, I get back pain. It's the worst.
dude, back pain, no joke. No, actually, for me, like the worst thing is like Man, I don't know how to say, but like cherish your sleep, man. Like it's so hard to get like a good night of sleep nowadays. Like
Also, scientifically proven you can never make up sleep because the cell that weren't able to regenerate at a certain time will never come back. So
yeah,
you can never actually make up those cells ever again.
okay,
Every day
sleep
there's a
is
new
so
set of new
important.
cells.
So
It's so
important.
important.
That's when your body literally like regenerates like at master speed. It's like when you're sleeping. So like all that shit you're going through, if you don't sleep, you're not recovering. And the less you sleep, the
Yeah.
more you suffer. You just build up all this hurt. Like for me, I'm still in search of like the perfect pillow. Like I've bought so many pillows. Oh my god, I've
Which
spent so much
one?
money on pillows. I have like the shredded memory foam. I have a normal memory foam. I have like the feather one. I have like a cheap ass one from Walmart that has like nothing in it. I have like a flat one, which ironically is probably my favorite one. I think I like sleep pretty flat, or I don't know. And like a few others, like, and I've been just trying them all out, and nothing has worked. Like I'm still in search. Like feel like I have issues with my neck, where it's like I always get like headaches, like tension headaches, I guess, from like not sleeping right on my neck
Oh.
or something. And I notice it happens a
Mhm.
lot around that time of the month. So I don't know if it's just the hormones or not, but man, it's the worst. I just want to find a
Yeah,
good
there's.
pillow.
Have you tried like the purple
I
mattress pillow?
I haven't got a purple mattress. Those are expensive, but I haven't tried.
They're expensive,
I
but like you should just go to those, like Sears or
yeah.
something. Do Sears exist still? JC
I
Penney's?
don't know.
Macy's?
I don't. I think they exist, but they're probably going to business soon. I think I've like tried the purple pill. I haven't slept a full night on one though. I've just like tried it out, so it's hard to
You should
say.
just go to every friend's house and sleep on their pillows and then figure out from there.
This is like, am I Goldilocks? Like, this pillow is too
Well, it does
firm.
sound like it, okay?
The random
So
people's houses. This pillow is too soft. Ah, this pillow is just right. And the friend would be like, "Why the fuck are you in my bed?"
when you come over, I'll let you try out my pillow. I have very good pillows, okay?
Yeah, okay,
Maybe
bet, bet,
it's
bet.
also the pillowcase. Did you try like doing silk pillowcase? Because it's really good for your
It's good for your
hair. And
hair, but I don't think it makes much of a difference. For me, it's more like my neck, like the headache thing that bothers me. So I'm just like, I want a good pillow for that. Cause like I've noticed, like I have basically a pillow that's like so flat. It's like I could basically even sleep without the pillow, and that helps a lot
uh
sometimes. Or sometimes I even sleep with like a travel pillow as like on my bed. Like that helps. Like I need like the neck support, but I
I
don't
think
know.
maybe you need to do some exercise to release some of the tensions.
Don't hurt me like this. I'm just
No, I'm
old.
saying you need to do exercise. I'll send you some because I feel like I always get like migraines because I
Uh,
clench my jaw and I
uh,
like when I'm stressed and stuff.
uh.
But ever since I've been doing those exercises, it's been helping a lot
Dude,
more.
I've been wondering if I've been like clenching my jaw like unconsciously or like grinding my teeth. Like my dentist hasn't said that I've been grinding my teeth, so I don't think I am. But like I bought like those like from Amazon, just like the cheap,
The night guard?
yeah, like the mouth guards that you can just do yourself at home with
Ah.
like hot water. Like I have those, and like if I'm feeling like I'm stressed or something, like I'll put it in just in case. So like if I am like clenching or it doesn't like ruin my teeth, and I hope it helps. Like I keep staring back at my pillows. I'm like, which pillow? There's so many things. As an adult, you're just like, I spend so much money. I never thought I would spend this much money on pillows. Or you know what else I've been thinking about buying is the fucking
What?
like a good ass chair. Like, no, I'm like, do I invest in was it Herman Miller? Herman Miller steel case? I think
What?
Herman Miller is the one I want to go for. I think Aeron is the popular one. It's like over $1,000 around there.
Oh my
But it's supposed to be
gosh.
so good to sit in. And with how much like I sit for like work and, just in general using a computer and all that per day, like
Uh-huh.
could be worth it. And everyone like says it's like a god chair. So I'm like, is it worth it? Am I willing to spend like $1,000 on a chair that doesn't even look that
Yo,
cool? It's just kind of like really good for you though.
$1,000 is a lot for one chair, but I guess if it's a investment, right?
Yeah, it's an investment. Look, if you think about it, it's like $1,000, right, for a chair that lasts you how long? Like forever. Like you can buy them secondhand too, which I've been looking at. Especially like companies who
Uh,
are like liquidating and stuff. Sometimes they sell them cheaper, like for half price or maybe even less. But still like 500. But it's like if you think about it, like per day, what's it, 365 days a year, and you're sitting in it like
Mhm.
every day, right? Probably like most of the day. That's like over
Oh.
3 years. That's like less than $1 a day, right? Like, is that worth it? And it will probably, it should last you more than 3 years. It should last you like very long time, right?
Okay, I see what you mean. Then it's worth it if you say it like that.
Right?
You should be a salesman. You should be a saleswoman at this point.
I'm so bad at selling things. I just think about things very logically. Okay, it's because I'm just like, okay, logically, if I have to spend this much money, is it worth? That's how I think about. I think a lot of things. Is it worth the investment? Like you have to think about you using it over an amount of time and how long it'll last, and then things make more sense. Like buying a phone too. How long are you gonna use it? How much it costs? Is it worth it? Like how much you use it every day? Like if you can reason that, then it's like worth the purchase, right?
I love how deeply you think about things too. It's like I feel like not many people do.
Yo,
So that's nice
it's just
to
because
hear.
I gotta be financially responsible, man. I'm poor. You gotta think about this. I am so about like learning your finances and financial responsibility. Like I always like want to help people out with that because I'm always like, why isn't this taught more? And I hate seeing people just like lose money that they don't need to lose or just like spend money. And it's like, no, you need to save now and like invest now so you have more later. And like, don't waste money on that. You can get it cheaper here. Like all those things.
Okay, I need you to help run my life because obviously I'm one of those people. It's me.
I got
I'm
you.
the problem.
I will be there. I will do it. If you have questions, dude, ask me. I will help out, honestly. Like I had like a whole period where I mean, even still now I do, but I remember I was watching this one YouTube mom, or there's a few of them, but like just make like meals at home for her family on a budget. And it's like all these budget challenges of like making like a meal for a week for a family of 5 for like
Oh.
$50. And it's just like so cool to see everything they make and where they buy things and just like how they do it and what you can make. I just
That's so cool.
I just wish they had like different, or maybe I haven't really looked because the one I watched was like a white lady, but like I feel like there's definitely ones for like different like cultures and stuff, so different types of food because not gonna lie, a lot of her food looked kind of plain looking and like casserole-y, and I'm like I can only eat that for so long. I'm sorry.
So funny because it's so true.
It's true. There's only so much mush I can eat before I'm like, okay, I don't want to eat mush anymore.
Oh, mush, huh? Mush.
Dude, her favorite thing was like beans, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, but there's only so much beans I can eat of like mush beans. Like I don't even really like beans that much. I like sweet beans. Like I like red beans and like dessert beans, but like for meals, like I don't like refried beans. Or like
You don't?
no, I think it's more the texture than the taste though.
Oh, I see, I see.
Yeah.
I like the taste and I like the texture too. I didn't like it before, but I think I'm telling you it's age. As I'm getting older, I'm starting to gravitate towards things that are healthy, naturally healthy, like pumpkin seeds,
Is it healthy or is it
like
mushy and we
quinoa.
just can't chew anymore? We're just so much
Yeah, don't say it like that. Anyways, this has been just like a whole thing
No.
about us talking, outing ourselves about age and like giving recommendations. So if you're out there and you're listening and you're young, please, this is like literally advice.
No.
I wish I would have known about this when I was younger. Or actually, I probably did. People have said it. It just doesn't register.
I
But
mean, we know,
please.
we just don't care because your body doesn't have any adverse effects. So you're like, fuck it,
Oh my
man.
god. I remember being able to drink like so hard, like 20 shots and be okay to keep going for like 3 days in a row. And now I have like a glass of wine and I'm like, ugh, that's a little too much.
You know what I heard? Okay, no, what you need to do is you have to make sure you hydrate before, like the night before, and especially get like the
Mhm.
electrolytes. Like I've heard that I kind of want to try out was it like liquid IV and see how well it works like compared to just drinking normal like, Gatorade or Powerade.
Liquid IV really works.
Does
It's
it?
kind of like the Uka no Chikara in Japan.
Uh.
You know what the salarymen drink
Yeah,
before
yeah,
they get
yeah.
fucked? Yeah, it's just like a liver coating. But liquid IV just helps restore the electrolyte. But I think it's like most people are pretty dehydrated
I mean,
normally.
isn't that why you like get hungover too though? It's cuz you don't have enough hydration and then I mean electrolytes have the salts that help you like retain the hydration, right? And so when you
But the
drink
worst part is just like you shouldn't be drinking poison. that's just like a part of our culture,
It's supposed to be you
drinking
drink in
poison.
it's supposed to be drinking in moderation is okay. The issue with American culture is that we don't know the word moderation, and that's why we have 21 and over drinking age versus like Europe and every other country or Asia where there's like yeah, kids drink and it's fine. Like Europe it's so normal to have like kids drinking. Like they drink with their parents, they drink like whatever. In Asia like I don't think I've ever been carded ever. Like the
They all just assume
yeah.
you're young. Is that why?
I think it's just they don't care. Like it's like you're buying in there. It's like the most they do is like at I guess like Japan they have like the convenience store and there's like the what's it the sign like it's like a screen and it basically asks like oh are you over like the adult age was it 20 in Japan age I think and you just hit
Yeah.
yes or no and that's it. They don't ask you or anything. You don't have to show ID or anything. You just hit a button.
I've been carded in Korea, not Japan
Oh
though. So
really?
maybe it's just like, yeah, maybe it's just certain areas.
I mean Japan also has the beer vending machines. Like there's beer and vending machines, alcohol.
I guess you're right. Maybe Japan, they're a little bit like more orderly, so they expect other people to be more orderly, so there's not so much chaos. But places like Korea are more laid back and chill.
I
So I can
wonder
imagine the kids being more rebellious and crazy.
I feel like they drink a lot in Korea. Like, there's so much places that you can get soju from without getting carded too, though. Like I definitely wasn't a Korea.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I don't. I think as long as they don't think you're rowdy or anything, they're usually okay with it. Cause like everyone just drinks. Like I think as long as you're not wearing like a school uniform, they'll probably give it to you without your ID.
I don't know. We weren't wearing our school uniform in Korea and we got ID'd. I was like, shock.
Was it like a foreigner area?
It was the bridge or the river that everyone goes
Oh,
to
the
eat
Han
chicken
River.
at. Yeah,
That's kind of touristy. That
I
I feel like that
guess.
might be what, because they're trying to be like more, with the law because you're not Korean kind of mentality. Koreans have a very like strong like what's the word? Like you're Korean, I'm Korean. Oh my god, we should be friends kind of mentality.
Ah,
I don't know what to call it, but it's like very like connected versus like foreigners. It's like oh we better make sure we do things right, otherwise we might get in trouble because we don't know what they're like because they're not Korean kind of. Yeah, that's what I feel like at least, but maybe it could be not. I'm not sure. I'm not Korean.
I also think in Japan too, there's a culture of like not wanting to insult other people. So it's like, oh, don't want to get in trouble or like, issues. So it's better not to ask, even if you're
Mm,
kind of sus. Like I don't want to have to deal with a
yeah,
confrontation.
yeah, that's true too, but I mean it's a legal requirement. It's not like
I
people in
mean,
America want to deal
it's
with
not
confrontation.
enforced. No, we're not enforced. And also in America, they're more likely to go like do crazier things.
Dude, I think it's because we have like okay, like it's both things. It's one because we have the law of saying like you can't drink until you're that. It makes it like the oh my god, I can't do to then. So like I'm a badass if I do it before then. Like I want to break the
Uh,
rules, and also like it's like that on top of American culture where it's like yeah, let's get shit faced. It's not about enjoying alcohol. It's about getting shit faced.
yeah, let's see how let's test our limit, see if we
Yeah.
can survive this.
Yeah, and it's like people always hype people up for being like, "Oh my god, take a shot, you take a shot, or I'll take shots," and it's just like who can drink the most, and it's never about just like, "Oh, that drink tastes good." Especially like guys, they always get shit on them for like liking girly drinks even though they taste better.
Yeah.
It's not about enjoying the drink; it's about like, "Oh yeah, can you drink hard liquor? How much of it can you drink?"
Quantity over quality, right?
Yeah, I mean, true. Like, that's what I feel like. That's why Europeans also like hate our alcohol. They're like, it's so shitty. It's like not good. It's just like cheap stuff. Tastes. We have like what is it like all the light beer and stuff, and everyone just says it tastes like piss. Like there's that joke of like when they put ice in like the urinals, and then they're like, yeah, that's your light beer right there. It's how they make it.
What?
Have you not
That's a
seen
thing?
that? Yeah, it's like a joke. They put like ice in urinals and then especially at like bars and then they say like oh yeah this is how they make your light beer that they serve to you oh my god I watched a video saying explain why they actually did it. I think it's just like I forget why they did it but there's an actual reason why they put ice in urinals.
Okay, that's weird. I feel like, let me think. Also, but maybe it's because Japan before didn't have an issue with it, and now they did. Didn't you say, like, in Shibuya, they're gonna cut off alcohol at a certain time during Halloween?
For Halloween, I think they cut it off around the time because it got too rowdy, like
Yeah, so maybe
past year.
Japan didn't ever have issue with being rowdy with alcohol as much as America, so that's why they didn't limit it.
I think they didn't, but the thing about Shibuya Halloween is there's a lot of foreigners. I'm not saying just foreigners cause the ruckus because it was definitely Japanese people too, but I think like the mix of it all definitely added to how rowdy it was. Because in Japan, it's legal to like drink and walk around in public normally. Like kind of, I think Vegas you can do that too, right? Whereas
I
like
don't
mostly everywhere else you can't. So when people come to vacation in Japan and stuff, they really take that as like, let's do it everywhere all the time. And everyone kind of just builds off each other's energy and it gets really rowdy because you know when people hype each other up, especially when they're drunk, things get out of hand really fast because like your rationality isn't there and you all just want to be friends and you all just like, I'm really hyped into whatever you're doing, but you're not thinking about it. So and
mm,
they are trying to enforce it, but at the same time I don't know how well they are enforcing it. Like there's only so much you can do, right? And I don't feel like Japanese police are the best at enforcing the law on the general public, especially in mass. Like I think for a lot of the videos I saw for that Shibuya and like Halloween, like the cops were getting scared off by the crowds because it was like a riot. Like it was huge crowds of people against like a handful of cops. Like what are they supposed to do even? And it's
so
not,
scary.
yeah, and it's not like America where they have like riot gear either. They're just like kind of normal cops.
Yeah. And it's the same thing. They don't really check IDs and stuff for like super pornographic items too, right? It's like they just have like major signs like adult only, but it's like literally there's no way to ID people to get like hentai or porn
Do they not?
in Japan.
I had no idea. I know they have the 18
I've
plus
never been
section.
ID'd, and then also like literally how would you be able to tell?
Wait, what did you buy?
No, 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 in general, like, just to go into those
Oh,
stores,
yeah,
because 'cause I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh, I go into these stores," and then I'm like, "The heck is all this?" And it's really intense, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I always just walk
And
in
they
those
have signs
sections
like, "Oh,
to laugh.
you have to be 18 plus," but I'm like, literally anyone could just walk past this sign. There's nothing enforcing
Dude,
it." And I think they're very chill with, like, alcohol and pornographic things
they
in
they're
Japan.
they're almost too chill about the pornographic things. Like their 18 plus section, every donkey has a pornographic section. I laugh every
Yeah,
time.
that's
No,
what I mean.
dude, I think it was the one in was it in Shinjuku or Shibuya, I think? I want to say it was Shinjuku. There was one where they had like okay, the thing with donkey is like they have an 18 plus section and like all the ones I've been to, it isn't even like a door or anything blocking it. It's like a half curtain with like an 18 like don't go in, you know? That's all it
Uh-huh.
is. And you just like walk in. You can even see all the stuff without walking in. But what cracked me up so much was that like right next to it, they had a huge display for Tenga. And Tenga's color is bright red. So it was like this huge out not covered display. It was just like a table and like everything was red and there was like a red wall on this thing and it was like really long, like 12 feet, I want to say like long. It was a big display and it was just for Tenga and it had like Tenga labels all over it. And I was like, only in Japan. Only in Japan. And then
No, even if you go online, like, if you go to, like, hentai sites or whatever, you only have to click, like, "Yes, I'm 18." That's it,
yeah. I mean,
and it's
okay,
fucking crazy.
to be fair, like in America too, that's what it is. Like I remember when I was younger and they'd always be like, "Oh, this is 18 plus content. Can you please confirm you're 18 plus?" And you just click OK.
Dang, so there's, like, no I guess you can't hide this stuff
I mean,
at
there's only
all.
so much you can do. Maybe for like porn that you have to buy, you might have to put your ID in, maybe. But like for free stuff, what are they supposed to do? Like how can you even
I
enforce
guess that's
that?
true. I guess that's true, but I'm just saying that's it's crazy. There's some really explicit stuff out there, and
Yeah.
yet they just
Yeah.
have kids, like, just exposed to this, and also it's not very hidden either, like, they're censoring, it's just you see everything.
Yeah, yeah, you see
Except for
everything.
parts, like, it's, like, barely any censoring, if any, you know?
Dude, no, you know what makes me laugh is Japanese censoring because like they always censor everything, and I'm just like, but why? What's the point of watching this if you're gonna censor it all? Or the times they do show anything, what they do censor is like they censor tits, and that's it. And I'm like, why? Of all the things to censor, It's like guys have them too. What makes it so much different for
Yeah.
like I don't know. It just makes me laugh at like
No,
the
but the
toys.
explicit stuff, like explicit, like whatever, at least for girls, is usually like, oh, you can see nipples. Oh my god, nipples, and
Oh
that's it.
my god, not like I haven't seen those in my life before.
So funny. But like literally nothing else. It's just like there's not much change, I think.
Oh my god, you know that reminded okay, kind of tangent, but like this is also kind of like I don't know if you're sensitive to like how things probably don't listen to this, but there I was reading this story on Twitter about like okay, you know how it's like being pregnant, pregnancy sucks and so does after pregnancy sucks. Like it's just like it puts a big toll on your body. Like, you know, you're literally raising another human in your stomach and it's like well not your stomach, your womb and like taking all its nutrients and it has a lot of side effects. Like, you know, you gotta
It's a leech.
yeah, it's a leech.
It's literally a parasite.
It's not all rainbows and paradise. Like there's a lot of shit that goes into it that's not pleasant, and it doesn't stop once the baby's born either. There's a lot of after effects that are very common that are not nice to deal with either. But I was reading about one, and I had never known about this, and it was so wild that I'm like, I am so scared. And I've never heard this before in my life. But apparently, this one lady was like breastfeeding, right? And then when she was breastfeeding, suddenly her I don't know. I guess you have to get like the baby to latch, and then maybe it's. I think this could be a reason if they don't latch properly is one of the reasons. Don't take my word on that. But basically, was breastfeeding, and then her nipple just started to like turn black, and it fell off. Like I didn't know that was possible, and she was literally like, I didn't know that was possible either, and she's like panicking, right? Because like the baby was like feeding, and then her literal nipple just fell off, and she like called like the doctor and they were like, oh, if it's like still there or whatever, it might still be viable. Like you can just kind of stick it back on. I'm like, do you just stick your nipple back on like a pasty? So she's like, yeah. So I just
What?
basically stuck my nipple back on with a band-aid
It
and
wasn't blood?
I guess not. I guess it just fell off. I don't know exactly. But then
That doesn't make any sense. That's
she's
so fucking weird.
and then she was like, yeah, I just put a band-aid on it and the story is, I still have my nipple, but it don't look the same, but it's there. And I was like, bruh, the fact that that's a risk when you're breastfeeding, like you can literally, I guess it's like, I think they said it's like necrosis or whatever. You basically, it cuts off the circulation in your nipple and that's why it falls off. I was trying to look into it, but it is a thing. And I'm like, the fact that that is a thing scares the shit out of me. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a risk with breastfeeding.
Well, I'm adding it to my list of reasons I'm never having children because it's scary.
Dude, can you imagine your nipple just fall? That's like the horror story I have in like my neck. It reminds me of like that one. Oh my gosh, there was that one old Reddit post or whatever. I'm pretty sure it was Reddit. I have all these random stories, but it was like the Reddit post of like, what if one night you woke up and you found like your dad was like sucking on your chest and you were like, what the fuck? But then you realized he was like sucking on your chest to give you nipples because you never like for some reason you didn't have nipples, so he sucked on your chest every night to give you nipples or something. And I was just like, what is wrong with the internet?
I don't know where you're finding this, but I'm horrified that you're telling me it in the first place. I
I
didn't even
swear,
know.
I swear this was a thing on the internet. It's not just me. It was like, I don't know if I would call that a, is it a meme? I guess it's like a copy pasta. I don't know what you consider, but it was not just me. It was like around the internet back in the day. I swear.
I could have lived my entire life without the information. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I know. I'm a blessing to your world. Just
Oh my
giving you
god,
so much
you do
information.
this to me. How could you do this to me? It's like that, what is it? Online, how they say humans have like that the fear of snakes means we probably had like a predator back then or whatever. Apparently the reason why we had like that the uncanny valley
What's Uncanny
thing.
Valley?
Uncanny valley is when you look at an image that looks like human but it's not human,
Mm.
and then it makes you uncomfortable.
Oh,
Like
okay. Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't register, like a
yeah. Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
AIs, a lot of like technology is just like, oh, there's something unsettling about it,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I've
but basically they say that must mean in the past humans definitely have encountered something that was human but isn't human, And that's why that fear is innate in us, and we have that, just like our fear of, like, snakes, you know?
Dude, that's like the fucking like every horror movie where they like try to create like a homunculus.
Mhm.
How do you say homunculus? Oh, no, Full Metal
Homunculus?
Alchemist, homunculus, Full Metal
Yeah.
Alchemist, where I learned the
Yeah, that
word.
one. Oh, it's always anime.
Dude, I swear I've learned so much vocabulary from anime that was like English that I didn't know because they use some English that we never use.
They do?
Yeah, there's so much like was it ego that's just like I can't think off the top of my head, but like homunculus is like one. Like when else do you hear that word?
I don't know. Fucking
Exactly.
book
Point made.
reading? I don't know. I don't know. What were we even talking about? How did we even get to this? Like, where are we?
We were at the 18 plus. Oh, another one.
Oh,
Noblesse
no?
oblige.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh my god, Noblesse
Right?
is
So,
so
you know,
good,
I've like
though.
never heard
Oh
that
my
in my
god.
life in English, but now I know what it means so well because they use it so much in anime.
Anime. Did you read Noblesse?
Yes, I read Noblesse and I watched
Oh my
it.
god, Noblesse is so good. It was like I think it was one of my first Korean,
I think it was
like,
one of the
or
first big
one of my
ones.
first webtoon. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the first big ones.
'Cause I was
Man,
like, "Oh, I keep scrolling? This is weird. It's
dude,
so strange."
webtoons are like so recent when you think about it too, because like I remember when I used to like read webtoons, and there was that one that I read. I haven't even gone back to it, but it was like one of the few that was out, and it was like this one Siren, I think it was called or something. I don't know,
N
some random.
Siren's Lament?
Yeah, 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 yeah. And they had like
Yeah, yeah,
music when you
yeah. Oh,
scrolled.
Winterwood. Have you read Winterwood?
I
It's the
saw
same
it,
author.
but I didn't read it.
I read that one before Siren's Lament, so I was so excited when
Oh.
I heard about their new series.
Oh, okay, because Siren Lament was like one of my first series for webtoons, because that's when like I guess webtoons are starting to like become a thing.
I see, I see.
Because I feel like okay, webtoons like every country does them, but like I feel like Korea has really capitalized on it. I don't think
No, it, like, blew up like
yeah.
crazy within the most recent years, but then the way that it grew is, like, crazy fast.
Yeah, because like I remember when I was younger, Korean manhwas, like I did not like the art. Like I read them and they had some pretty good stories, but the art always bothered me. Like, 'cause they always I think the thing that bothered me the most was the way they drew eyelashes. Like they look like caterpillars all the time.
Eyelashes? Are you talking about, like, Korean or Chinese? I feel like that's more
Korean.
common for Chinese.
I don't know about I didn't really read any Chinese ones back then, but like Korean ones, they always had like these really thick eyelashes that look like caterpillars. Like it was too much. Too
Is
much.
that like the 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 shoujo eyelashes back then?
Kind of, but it was like more it was too much. Like it was even more than that. It didn't look right. Like every time I looked at it, it looked off. And I just kind of had to sit through it because I was like, okay, the story's kind of good and they look good aside from the eyelashes. But it's like every cuz I used to read a lot of Korean stories, and a lot of them they made into manhwas. Like a lot of the what do you call them? I forget what they're called, but like they're the online like web stories because they used
Mm.
to translate them on Soompi, and I
Oh,
think I
yeah,
still have
yeah,
some
yeah.
saved. But like what's like the wolf? And some are made into movies too. Like and they always had like the Iljin ones and like the like ugh, I can't remember the names right now. But yeah, and then a lot of them they had the manhwas for too, and I was like, I'm reading this for the story, but the art. But now I'm so happy because webtoons are so beautiful, and they don't do the eyelashes
Dude,
anymore.
it blew up so freaking crazy that I'm, like, happy, and then now there's, like, so much, like, beautiful art out there. 'Cause I was getting so, and I think it blew up during the Villainous arc too, no? Wasn't
Mm,
that when it all kinda started?
I think it was before the villainous. The villainous is more recent, but
Oh my god.
yeah, I mean they. It's so nice because I remember when the first time I saw webtoons, I was like, wow, color for the whole thing. Wow, that's so much work. And then it was really common. Like every series had color. It wasn't just like one series. Cause
Yeah, it was so well colored too, because I was like, it's rare to even see, we're so used to black and white, you know?
yeah, you were
And even
lucky
in
if
the
you got.
beginning, it was, like, really nice. Like, I think one of my first like, webtoon was, like, the Suddenly I'm a Princess.
I don't
That
know
one
that
was
one.
so pretty, and it's becoming an anime. I'm so freaking hype. I hope
Wait,
it's
I do know that
beautiful.
one. What was that one about? I definitely read that one. I remember that
The
title.
daddy, hot daddy.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
With the two guys, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That one's so pretty. Like her outfits are so detailed and just everything. Oh my god, my heart.
No, that was one of the first that I was like, "Holy shoot!" That was like so freaking detailed.
Oh,
The eyes, the mood of everything. Like they did that very well. Now I look back at it, I'm like, "Oh, it's kind of plain compared to now standard, which is like only within what a few
I
years."
think it's still
But
pretty good.
like it was so revolutionary back then. I feel like it wasn't even that long ago.
It's Who Made Me a Princess, right? Same one?
Yeah, who
Okay,
made me
okay.
a
Yeah,
princess?
yeah, yeah. Oh, the dad is so hot too, though. Like
The
that's
dad.
literal
That was
daddy.
like that was the moment that I knew they wrote the daddy for us. It was not like, we're so used to seeing, like, male leads being, like, for the female lead, but I'm like, that's when they did it for
I
us.
mean,
It
look
was
at
the
him.
audience.
His chest is always open. What
I mean,
for?
come on, dude,
Why
it's like
does he
the
always
freaking
have this like open chest like cloth cover? Like for whom? For
unnecessarily
whom?
hot all the time and broody and beautiful,
Yeah.
but I swear and then the main character had their own, like, love interest or whatever, and their
Okay, wait.
children, they grew up together, and
Who do
it's
you
cute.
think? Who do you think she belongs with? The black hair dude or the white hair dude?
Oh my god, that's so hard
No,
because
it's not.
no, okay, I didn't really see her with the magician till, like, way later because he always picked on her. He seemed like, just like the second male lead trope, because the
Hmm.
first male lead usually is like the serious, beautiful, like unattainable one. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like that's usually the trope. So I thought he gave me more like second male lead vibes until later.
I see what you mean, but maybe it's
And
because I have a
also,
type.
the first one she meets is usually who they end up with.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know that
That's true.
trope?
That's true. That's true. That's true.
It's like the first character they meet, like, what is it? How do he met Tamaki first.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like that. Like anytime first male character introduced.
We gotta do the. Man, what was the series? Man, I'm blanking right now. But the series where he was a blushing boy, and oh god, I'm so. Was that
Ah!
Al Hardy Ride?
No, no,
No, no,
no,
it
no.
was the
Oh,
other
I think
one.
it was one of those.
It was the same mangaka. If it wasn't Al,
Uh,
I can't remember
is
the
it
name right now.
Okay, are you talking about the teacher and she ends up with the best friend?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
one?
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's
But
something about shooting star, isn't it?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was that one. I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know it
And then he was like the
because
blushing. Ah, he's so
it's the
cute.
same artist as Tsubasa Lonely Planet or something like that.
Was it that one? Okay, wait. Yeah, but that was
I
like
need
the one that everyone was so happy that the second male lead got it like for once, and he deserved it. It was just like, thank you for this.
we finally won. And yeah, I was saying I would never see the second male character win ever.
They gave it to him. They did him right for once.
Okay, I literally still fight with people about it because like people are like, "No, she Sensei was better." I still fight with people because they still think she deserves
Okay,
Sensei.
if I'm thinking about it rationally, second lead deserves her. Like that's the best couple. But me
Uh-huh.
with my personal preferences goes for
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sensei.
yeah.
But then I'm like, okay, that's not okay though, because one, he's a sensei. It's just that I have a type. So
I found it. Yudu Nakano
yeah, yeah,
Ryusei.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 like
Exactly.
daytime shooting
Yeah,
star or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I remember because I was just like I was on the bus while I was reading it, I was like, "Oh, there's no way." And then my friend messaged me, it was just like, "It happened. You got what you wanted." I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And he won. The second male lead won. I was like, "Oh my god." It was so good.
Blessed be. Man, okay. I'm so happy. Finally.
What other one? Because there's so many, like what you mentioned, like Al Harurai, that one was not satisfying either because the guys the main guys are little bitches.
Yeah.
Like, I hate
Yeah.
that they're problematic. They always play that trope, the sensei is just like, "We can't be together." And the girl's like, "Why?" And he's like, "I don't deserve you." And then the second male lead's like, "I want you." And she's like, "Okay." And then afterwards she's like, "No, bye. I want the first one that didn't want me." and then the first one's like, "Wait, I want you now." You know, like,
Ugh.
that's
But
exactly
you're
how
gonna
it
say you
plays
don't
out.
deserve. Okay, I hate that though. That's so manipulative. Be like, I don't deserve you. Well, then
Right?
make yourself deserve. Like, why would you say that? What? Who does this benefit? What does that do for you? Like, no one's happy in that situation.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we like the angst of it, right? I mean, let's be honest, we like the angst, but I honestly, if it's a real situation in real life, that's toxic.
Yeah, you'd
That
be
is
like, get
not
the fuck
translate.
out.
You can read about, you can fantasize, but do not translate it to real life because
Yeah,
that's toxic.
gotta separate fiction and reality, man. In real life, if
Yeah.
you ever said it to me, I would stop you. Like, what the fuck? You know what? Yeah, you don't
In
deserve me.
real life,
Goodbye.
you go for the
Goodbye.
second male lead,
Yeah.
okay? Who has always loved you
Go to the
and
one
has
who treats
always
you
wants the
right.
best for you. Yeah, exactly. Don't because at the first one, I feel like it's just infatuation,
Yeah.
and it's just like, like first love and crushing and all that stuff. But in reality, that like paint such a like kind of delusional mindset for
Yeah.
young impressionable girls who's just like, if I work hard enough, my first love will work out,
Yeah, yeah. And that's okay, let's be realistic. How many first loves actually work out? Like, come
right?
on. Do
Mm-mm.
you really know what you want? Especially because a lot of first loves are like when you're in like middle high school, right? And like, let's be realistic. Do you like what you liked in like middle school and high school still? And are you the same person? And are they the same person? And like, there's just so many things that change that's like, really? You're gonna
Yeah.
like submit yourself to that for the rest of your life? Like, from your first, like, not even 2 decades?
I feel like I idolized that idea when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I'm like, no, it just doesn't make any sense.
I think,
Because also, like, like you said, like not all first love work out, but then also, what are the chances you're gonna find your first love and that be like the perfect duo? Like, how many shoujo manga ends up just with their first crush?
yeah, and
You
it's
know,
like, how small is your
always.
world to be at like the same school? Like me, even now, I'm like, my high school was small. If you think about all the people I met just in my same school district, and then you think about people you met on top of that, like you're limiting yourself so much. You have so much to learn. Like you learn from relationships. How much can you learn if you've been in the same relationship? Not to say that you can't, but like just in general, just so much. Don't limit
And
yourself like
sometimes
that.
the reason they fall in love, to me, it seems so shallow. But maybe it's like the simplistic and pure side of things. I don't know. But it's just like, oh, he was hot and
Yeah.
also he did this to me. He was nice. He caught my
He
bread
was
or
the
something
most
like that, you
pure.
know?
It's like,
But the most important part is that he's hot.
yeah. Okay, on top of that too, like I remember reading, so cuz I guess it makes more sense when you're younger, right? Cuz you're in that demographic that you don't really realize how different ages, right? Cuz like when I was younger, anyone older than me, even a year older, was like so cool, right? Like, oh my gosh, they must know so much more about the world and like can do so much more stuff. And now you're older and you're like, that's creepy, or that's they weren't. They're only like they're like the same. But
Mhm.
when you're younger, you don't see that. So it's also like when you're younger in that mindset, the whole like I remember being so disturbed now when I'm older. I'm like, why are they having sex in like middle school? And they're like, I'm gonna be with them forever. I'm like, that's a little bit of a red flag. Like, I
Just a
just,
little bit.
I mean, just think of if you had like a kid and they were like in middle school and you knew they were having like sex with this person, and wouldn't that bother you and be like, I mean, you want to be safe, and I guess that's the age, but even then, it's like it's a little young, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, I feel like the brain does not develop until way later. And
Yeah.
I find like a lot of people don't give themselves the space and the opportunity to grow. Like I think there are ways to grow in relationship and it's like painful and stuff like that, but I find it a lot easier to grow without the relationship because then you don't have a whole other person carrying
Mm.
this like feeling or these like baggage that you have, you know?
Yeah, and it's
They're
like,
like
sorry, go on.
oh, sorry. No, in certain places will never be the same because you've had certain experience there, or certain things will always remind you of this person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
sometimes it's better to just go through, the struggle and the healing, find yourself before you settle.
Yeah, and it's like the point of life, right? Like, why you have to live your life. You can't just like subject yourself to one thing and say like I found figured it out. Cuz like let's be honest, how many of us have actually figured out life, like what we're doing, what we really like it's always changing. We're not the same person we were last year or like the past 5 years or the past decade. You know, you're constantly changing. You can't expect everyone's relationships to stay the same? Like people change and it's a matter of like, can you change with them? Do you still match up on certain things? You know, like that kind of thing. You shouldn't force yourself to like stay one way to like keep one thing when it's like, no, part of life is changing and that's a good thing. But anyways, it's been a great episode. I think we talked on a lot of stuff. Sorry, I went off on a lot of tangents.
It's basically just life lessons at this point. It's not
we're just old and achy, and this is all we have to contribute.
Anything you can take away from this is that like enjoy like the fantasy. We can read about it and like we can really enjoy the angst and all of these aspects, the sex, the smut, whatever. But do not take that to real life, okay? Like it's literally not the same thing. There are things you can learn from it, but it's not the same thing.
Boundaries are important and separate fiction from reality. It's okay to like things, but just don't expect to project that onto reality. That's the most important.
Yeah. And don't forget to live in reality too.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget that, I need to go out and experience things and do things and just like, oh, okay, well, I understand this perspective and all these experiences because I had my own rather than just live off others, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed us rambling once again. And I guess we'll see you again, ramble again next week. I'm Kane.
And I'm Iso.
We'll see you again. Okay, bye.
Bye.